G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we are doing the Transformers crossover with Knight Rider. This is Agent Knight. And I'll start off by saying this. From here on, I will just refer to him as KITT. I'm sorry, Hasbro. You should have just called him KITT. It's who he is. Legit. I understand with the rest of the crossovers that they were new characters. KITT is KITT. He didn't need to be called Agent Knight. He is KITT. So that's what I'm going to call him. This is KITT. And I won't lie, I was really looking forward to this guy. He's only one of two crossovers I ever bought. I got Ectotron, which I did a review for a long time back. And I got this guy. I never got the X-Men crossover. I'm not getting the G.I. Joe crossovers. I didn't get the DeLorean, the Back to the Future. What was it? Gigawatt or whatever it was. I didn't get any of those. Didn't like any of them. The only ones I liked was the Ectotron. So the Ecto 1, which I don't know why it wasn't actually called that itself. I didn't get the Ghostbusters Optimus either. But when they said they were going to do a Knight Rider, I'm like, I've got to get it. Now, I admit, I'm not a huge fan of Knight Rider. That's so far up there that, that Knight Rider's on par with Transformers for me. My old man is a massive fan of Knight Rider. And through him, I am quite the fan in return. So it's sort of secondhand fandom. But honestly, like I saw this was coming out, I'm like, oh, I cannot wait. I've got to get this figure. So I spent probably the final month before this got released, seeing people getting their figures and whatnot. And I was just watching all the different websites I view to see when it was officially coming out. Because the big ones that I would normally go through didn't have it. It was just the mainline distributors. And when it comes to, this is a little bit behind the curtain, but to me, I do not like to pay a full deposit up front. I don't mind paying a portion like I do with a lot of my third-party figures. I was not game to drop down $100 on this guy until it actually got released. So it got released, and I ordered it ASAP. And he does look amazing. The only thing I don't like is this blue. I don't think it should have been there. I think it should have either been red to match the rest of it, or it should have been black. There shouldn't have been this Energon-ish. What was it back in the day? Energon blue, when the movies and that were coming out. So I don't like the blue. Yes, it sets it off. I do not think it needs it. I think this should have been black or red. But he is nice. And I will point something out that others have pointed out. So I'm curious. I have a feeling this guy's going to get remolded into something else. If anything, I would say it could be far stretch, maybe the battle charges again. Even though we got them in Power of... What was it? No, it was War for Cybertron. Earthrise. I do have the Runabout. Or was it Run Amok? Sometimes I can't remember which one's which. Anywho, but yeah, he does look really nice. And I actually showed my father this. I said, I actually have KITT in Transformer form. So I was really happy with it. I'm still really happy about this. He is a little hollow in places. Like you can see a huge, if I were to move his foot, there's nothing in there. So there it is empty. But he's considerably solid, and he's chunky. He's very chunky. I have not gotten a chunky bot, especially not a mainline chunky bot, for what feels like forever. Like I thought he was going to be like this big. He is technically this big, but he feels like a bigger bot. He is a proper decent, I want to say Voyager. I don't think to me, he's not quite leader class, but he's bigger than Deluxe. But he's thick and chunky, especially his chest, body, and everything. Like I said, he's a little gappy, but he's not a lot. There's not a lot of just everywhere. And even the backpack, there's barely nothing of the backpack. It's his doors and the roof of the car. That's it. You can see he's got his extra gun back there, and I will bring that up in a second too. But yeah, he's big. He's a decent size. Like honestly, I was expecting to go, oh yeah, it's all right. It's fine, but he's nice and chunky. He doesn't have a lot of weight because he's still a mainline figure, so things aren't going to be very weighted. But he's not going to fall. It would take quite a bit for him to fall over, honestly. And as you can see, I've got him in this rather weird pose, but only because that's how I had him on my shelf. But yeah, he does look really good. I don't know how I feel about the visor look, but no, I'll take it. I would have thought in some regards they would take hints from Michael Knight, which is, of course, KITT's driver, excluding the modern interpretations of Knight Rider, which was the Mustang, which, because the Mustang doesn't work for me. I would have thought that maybe they would use some subtle hints of David Hasselhoff, like the face and whatnot, although admittedly not having the afro from the original series, probably a good thing. Yeah. As you can see, he's basically using the prow sort of look with the tires on the arms and the splayed windows, doors. Get the word right in a second. So yeah, he has elements of, was it the Nissan Fairlady Z, but he's definitely not obviously that. He's a Trans Am, a Pontiac Trans Am, which if it was anything other than that, it just you would have lost me. But yeah, he's really, really nice. As for accessories, we do have this gun here, and it just plugs into his hand. It does have a peg on the back here, and I think this one works too. As you saw with the gun back here, you can plug it into the inside of the doors. So that way, if you want, I'll try it with this one. Actually, I don't think that would work, because if it did, it wouldn't be able to sit in anywhere. But basically, you can use it for your storage. So that goes on there. That goes on there. He does also have this. Whoops. Mine has a slight issue. Not a huge issue, but just a slight issue. He also has a communication watch, which is what Michael wore in the series, which is pretty cool. I do usually try to actually have it so it's sort of up here, so it looks like he's talking on it, but I decided to start fiddling with that a little bit differently. So, and that just comes off. It does sit in very secure. It's just stay, because I'm moving his hips now. It's just this little peg just into the top of the hand here, not back here, this one here. I'll just put it off to the side. And I'll get the other gun off so you can actually have a better look at that. So one's sort of a small assault rifle, I suppose you could say that's a bit of an Uzi type thing. Not that, the funny thing is Michael didn't really use guns in the series, and KITT didn't have weapons, so to speak. He jumped around a lot, he raced around a lot, and he smashed through walls. So he didn't really have much in the way of weapons. Although, just saying now, if they did a Optimus Prime that transforms into Goliath, I'm so there. Also, if they recolor this guy into Car, I'm so there. I'll get both of them. I'll be happy to get both of those. All right, so we can get down to articulation. So I'll just straighten him up a little bit. There is features, accessories that I'm not getting into just yet. That would be just jumping the gun. So his head can do a full 360. It can look up. It's on a ball joint, so it looks up very far. Can look down, although he's starting to look into his chest. Can do a bit of side to side because of that ball joint. Arms can do a full 360. You can move the doors out of the way. Comes out. All right, I'll talk about it. My shoulder keeps popping off. Now, it's just a simple ball joint, to pop back into there. So it's not terrible. But yeah, if you push it too far, you're going to pop it. Also, I'll get to that in a second. But so it goes out that far. But depending on how your shoulders sit, you might accidentally activate the transformation joint as well. So just be aware of that. So it should stop flat like this, but if it's even a little bit further, it's not fully in place, and you may have to just fiddle with it a little bit. So that goes out fine. As you can see, that one sort of fiddles with it. All right, so we have upper bicep rotation. We have single jointed elbow that gets you that far. We have no fingers, no thumb. We have rotation at the wrist. And we actually have an in and out because it's on a ball joint and it's just a little bit here. And I'm assuming that's just because of the way the ball joint sits in there. So you can get an in if you really, really want to. You can angle your doors, so in and out. You can also angle them way up. And I think that's it's on some sort of a hinge there, but you can like fold all that in if you really, really want to. So you can actually get rid of that. Backpack doesn't tab in anywhere, so it's up to you. But yeah, it's angle them how you want. So if you want, you can have no doors at all. Like, yeah, they're going to be there. But if you want a relatively clean, no door shoulders, you can do that. It's up to you. I just think, why hide the doors? They look fine. Get things a little bit out of the way. You have waist rotation. There's no ab crunch. Don't know why they did this. His crutch plate moves. There's a pin there. I don't know why that's not one solid piece. So I don't know if that was supposed to be glued in or something. It does give you if that's out of the way, it does give you access to the mushroom pegs for the legs. But it doesn't really have any hindrance with the leg movement. So it can go that forward that far, go way back. Try to get the arm out of the way. A little bit better. Goes really far up on the leg. You have, all right, so it's a little weird. I want to say the joint's here. So it is upper thigh, but it's not hip. You have knee band that gets you that far, which actually activates part of the transformation a little bit. You have quite a bit of ankle tilt, although you're going to start hitting that knee, that shin pad. Goes way down due to transformation. There's no heel, but you do get toe. So you get a little bit down. You can all the way down because it's transformation. But you don't really get up. So it's more the heel that does that. So there we go. That is your articulation, as long as I don't pop anything off. Excuse me. Now, I will say before I get into transformation, these accessories, so the guns and the intercom, this can stay in place. This can stay in place even though it stresses a little bit. This can't fit. So if you want to keep all these in their little compartments, 2 out of 3 you can. It's probably just a better idea to detach them. Excuse me. All right, let's get down to transformation. Oh, actually, that's what I was going to do. I'll do this while I'm thinking of it, because otherwise I'm going to forget. Now, I've said it a few times. I usually don't go into the boxes, but oh my God, this looks good. And I'm pretty sure the Ectotron had something very similar, but this looks absolutely beautiful. A very classic 1980s Transformer one. I can actually do the bio, not that's very long. Function, preserve human life in a world where crime never rests. Initiate turbo boost. That's his catchphrase. Autobot Agent Knight is the perfect partner to help protect the innocent, helpless, and powerless from lawless criminals. To which he has, without a red filter because it doesn't come with one. He's got a 9 for strength, almost a 10 for intelligence. I would actually say he should be closer to 11. He's got a 9 for speed. That's arguable. I would say he's a little bit faster. And his special ability gives him 8. So there we go. All right, so there's nothing fancy. The instructions are pretty. Honestly, I don't think I had any trouble. Like normally, there are times I have to actually look up transformation videos myself because there are steps that I don't quite understand. There was one step I wasn't quite sure of. It shows the instructions, just it sort of took me for the loop. So I'll show when we get back into robot mode, because this guy does get packaged in vehicle mode. So if you want this guy, you just want him for the vehicle mode and you want to display him in the box, there you go. He is pre-transformed. All right, so let's start with the chest piece, and I'm going to keep my fingers as far away from a little feature that I know is there. Actually, what I'll do is I'll start by turning his waist, because we are going to need to twist that. Then we're going to pop this all up. It's on a series of hinges. Well, not hinges, but things. So you got these here. And we're going to bring this back and all the way up. And we can bring the head down. Now, it tells you to spin it and flatten it like that. I'm not a fan of that. So I'm going to get that back out again. There is a little piece here. And I'm going to fold it around all the way. Leave it the way it was and leave it in there. Honestly, to me, that just looks better. When it comes to Transformers, I just think that is a better preference. We're going to keep that roof out of the way and bring this all the way up, like so. And you have this panel here. You will flick this up and it will sort of click into place. I think I'll leave the camera up a little bit so I'm not having to stand, my man, stand. All right. So we are going to leave all this the way it is. We're not going to worry about this just yet. We're going to deal with the feet. So fold in the toes, bring back the feet. So it just sits like this. You're going to flip open the shin pads. Now you can tab all this in. You have this tab that goes into this port. You have this and this that will intersect to each other. So just line all that up. They might untab on you. Don't fret too much. And then all this is going to flip up. Where is it? So these two ports should go onto these two tabs. I don't think I've ever been able to lock them back into place post-transformation, first transformation, but I'll try my best. So there we go. Nice and snug. Then we can come back under here and these just close. You have basically these 4 ports and they've got their own little setups, and just push them till they're nice and closed. Then we want to bring this back, and this piece is just going to slide under here. It won't sit perfectly yet because there's nothing keeping in place. We're going to bring the doors back, and you have these little tabs in here that'll go just inside the door, like so, and that will keep things a bit more secure. Right, the arms. I always forget how this, I know how the transformation works. There's just some articulation. I always forget which way they've got to go. So I'm going to turn that away, because we base, is it that way? No, that away, I think. No, I'm going, well, yeah, it is this way. All right, it is this way. All right, so you want the hand facing in. Now, this is also where I also have a tendency of popping my shoulder off. So you want to, you don't have to angle it up. It is easier when you get it back out. But what you're going to do is you're going to bring this in. You have this tab, which I keep forgetting which way it goes. And that's going to tab into, I think it's here. So bring that around, all the way around, and you're going to activate that transformation joint. And yep, bring that around and tab that in there. And just give the wheel a bit of a push. My bonnet's not quite where it's supposed to be. All right, so you want that nice and straight. So then we'll do the same thing on this side. So angle that in, bring that around. It's just got to make sure you clear this. And try not to pop any joints. Tab that in and fiddle with that wheel. So it's nice and straight. Make sure everything's nice and snuff. And there he is. And we'll bring the camera down so we can actually see it better. There is KITT in his vehicle mode. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I've always liked the idea of a Pontiac Trans Am. I really, really have. And I want to say that X-Transbots used it for Run Amok, which I remember making a comment, I can't remember where, saying that someone said, oh, it would be a great kit. And I'm like, well, just wait for them to do Runabout. To which they end up using a different car. But yeah, they really, you could have got a third-party kit basically. So the fact that we got KITT, I don't know why my wheels are a little bit wonky. Could be just how my shoulders are sitting, or it could be just my table, honestly. I don't know. I think it's my table. Either that or I don't have my wheels quite far enough around. But it does roll perfectly fine. It is a beautiful, beautiful looking Pontiac Trans Am. It really, really is. I would have liked these to have been a bit darker color so you didn't see all the little id bits. But in saying that, it would have been cool to actually maybe have some detail there for the whole kit aspect. Like I said, you could have put these in, but they would start stressing things. All right, so we do have some things we can go through on this. We have, obviously, the doors. You can get them out after you plug them in. So you can actually have open doors. Both works on both sides. You have pop-up lights. Now, I have nothing but trouble when it comes to pop-up lights, especially on my third-party figures, because they're the ones that have them. This one, no problem whatsoever. Pops up, and they pop right back down again. Of course, we have a little Autobot signature. That's where his is. It would have been cool to have... Actually, that's probably... Yeah, that's why I wasn't sitting, probably because my hands were far enough up. It would have been nice. Yeah, that's it. It's a little bit. It would have been nice if this actually had its turbo mode as part of the transformation. But I think that would have been way too expensive. And we would have been looking at like $250. $100 at least for what I paid for it. Perfect price. You know, I would have liked a little bit cheaper, but I'm perfectly happy with $100. The fact that we didn't get turbo mode, yeah, it's fair enough. All that would do is add some extra pieces here, and whatnot. But we do have one other thing we have to go through, because this is KITT. It really is KITT. You have a button here, which I've been making sure I don't touch, and you have battery case here. It does take 3 LR44 batteries. I thought I had some when I originally bought this guy, and apparently I used them all. I can't remember which figure used them. But you can press this button. I'll hold it this way. So you get that.
I am the voice of Night Industry 2000's microprocessor, KITT for easy reference. KITT if you prefer. Hold on, this could be a bit bumpy. Oh, you're sure this is the right way? Very well.
And if we just let it sit there for a little bit while I talk a little bit, it'll have one more sound effect, and then I can show you the last added effect. But yeah, I would have minded a turbo mode. Unfortunately, it's not the actual actor's voice who played KITT. I don't know the reason why. I don't know if they just decided they weren't going to pay the actor for his voice. You would think that maybe the company that actually owns Knight Rider would have been able to legally use clips from the show. Very much like what we did with a lot of the MPs, like MP44. They got, as far as I know, they used the original voice clips for Optimus. I don't know. And honestly, that last effect's taking longer than I thought it is. So I'll show one last effect, and then it'll probably stop. There it is. KITT signing off. So yeah, I think it's about a minute. Now, it does have one last thing with the button. If you hold it down, I don't think I held it long enough. No, I didn't. Let's just keep holding it. There we are. So we have our lights going backwards and forwards. Very classic Knight Rider. It doesn't look very well on my phone, so I'll just try to angle it down a little bit. I think that lasts about 60 seconds, give or take, and then it shuts off. These don't light up. These don't light up. It's just there. If they made this toy without that feature, would have been a massive disappointment. Figure's amazing. Transformation's amazing. That would have been a travesty. So while that's finished is doing what it's doing, we can do a size comparison. Here he is with Windblade. So about the same length, obviously not as wide. He's just a smidgen shorter from the roof too. So there we go. All right, we can get down back to transformation, getting him back into his robot mode. So it's basically we're doing the opposite of what we did to get here. So we're going to flip this up, and the instructions tell you to flip quite a bit up. I'd say about there. I wouldn't go any further. I'm probably going to pop this joint, but you're going to flip this out. This is obviously going to move. Oh, by the way, obviously insinuate batteries are not included, even though the box comes with a warning that it uses cell batteries. So you're going to flip this around. And I'm trying to do it without flipping, doing that ball joint. And you're going to do it so this is going to sit up here. We can leave our arm where it is. So flip up just enough. And then flip around. You will feel it when it's sort of locks into place. And we'll leave that where it is. All right, so we actually might bring it down to give us a bit of clearance. So rotate that down. Rotate that down. We'll might as well spin these around. So you want them facing obviously this away. And then we can come in here and we can pop our doors to get them out of the way. And this is all going to become very, very loose. So if you're like, well, how do I pop the roof out of place? Just bend it. It'll come out. And it stopped. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to come under here and we're going to open our shin flaps. Now, this was tight when I first did it, probably not so much now, but if you sort of get your fingers underneath the feet and get your thumbs on the side of the body and push up, if you're finding it difficult getting those unpegged, that will get off. And my knees are, there it is. My knees are always a bit tight. I want to say there's another tab in there somewhere, but I'm not sure. So then we can straighten all that up. We can close the shin covers using those same ports. Flip up the feet, flip up the toes, and give them a bit of a wiggle, and you can get those feet untapped. Get that out of the way. And we'll fill with the waist once we get everything in the top half done. Now, you're going to fold the roof back, and you're going to push down on this. It's going to come forward. So if you push at the back and down, it'll come round. Now, this is something that confused me. This is what I was talking about. So it tells you to do that. Now, you do that and you're fine. And I'll just sort of, I'll do it this way. It tells you to flip up the head. Now, of course, yours should be facing you, so you turn it around. And then it tells you to fold all this down, and I'll show it better in a second, and bring it all down. And you end up with this, a giant gap in his belly, and his head, his chin barely clearing his bonnet there. And you'll be like, all right, what did I do wrong? And you're going to push, and you're going to push, and you're going to push, and you're going to go, it's not going down. It's not going any further. I did have to look this up. Now, it tells you to do that, but if I pop all that off again and do a proper transformation, in here, I'll put the light on so you can actually see it. You have this port here, and you have this tab here. You have to push it down and tab it in. That's going to mostly line it up for that belly. So then if we bring the head up, and you have this joint here, you're going to bring that down and back. So I don't know if you can see it. It sort of sits into its plates. So it's up there, and you slide back with the head out of the way. Then you press down as far as it'll go. And this will still seem like it's sitting wrong. Just give it a little push back. It's going to press against that plastic, and give it a push if you need to. That will clear up that gap. So yeah, if you've got that gap, chances are it's because the bonnet is not actually tabbed into there. And by doing that, it actually gives you the proper clearance that now his head is elevated above his bonnet. So that way it clears it properly. So that not being transformed properly will cause issues with his head height and having a gap in his belly. So then we can rotate the waist. We can angle all this how we want. And of course, you can angle these how you want. Like I said, you can bring them down, whatnot. You can't bend these, so just beware. Now, it does have one thing that I'm wondering if it's, and I think others have wondered this too, that it's actually going to be because of a future release. And now actually looking at that, I think we actually have a different spot to actually tab in our guns, I think. Not really, at least not with that one. You have a mushroom peg here. So you can rotate this around and bring it down. Now, I don't think that improves that in any measurement. I think it just makes his waist look even worse because now you have a sort of a skirt, and you can fold that up if you want, but it's still not doing much. So I'm wondering, and I think, and others have definitely said before me, if this is part of a transformation for something else. You can, of course, bring that up like that and have it like pipes. Not pipes, skids. But I just leave it this away and just bring that to his back. So there we go. So yeah, I'm not sure what that's there for. Maybe it's an engineering part of the transformation that sort of got thrown out the window, but they didn't want to redesign it, so they just kept it. Or we could be looking at some other figure in the future that has it. And of course, you can use all that while he's in robot mode. So it does look good. And of course, now he's going to be telling me that he's signing off. All right, so let's do final size comparison. Here he is with MP10. So he's a pretty decent sized figure compared to MP10. Like I said, I call him Voyager. I wouldn't quite call him leader, but yeah, he's basically modern day leader. He's too short for commander. So there's that. And of course, whoops, I got other things on my table that I need to move. The only other crossover I've got, here he is with Ectotron. And Ectotron is way more gappy than he ever is. So they've definitely made some progress. Although I won't lie, I still love my Ectotron. He looks really good, and Slime is out there somewhere.
KITT signing off.
Thank you, KITT. See, there's another perfectly good excuse why they shouldn't have called him Agent Knight. He still calls himself KITT anyway, so he's just KITT. Tell me I'm wrong. Please feel free to tell me I'm wrong. But yeah, they do look, pretty good together. Obviously, I don't know how the multiverse would work. I don't know how KITT and the Ghostbusters would run into each other. Although honestly, I want to see them do a Filmation Ghostbusters, and basically a Filmation Ectotron-ish, because their actual vehicle, which was just wonky as all hell, actually had transformations. So I'd love to actually see if they'd actually be able to get the rights to do that. He hasn't have any buttons or whatnot. He comes with Slimer, but they're not too bad a size. Ectotron's a little bit taller, just from the head, excluding the front windscreen. But yeah, they do look really good together. So there we go. So if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.